Hi everybody, I'm Sarah, I'm the curate at St Stephen's Canley, and I just want to share a few little thoughts about why we are sticking with missional communities even amongst a global pandemic where lots of stuff that we're able to do is reduced, and especially things like the rule of six and where you can and you can't meet have an impact on getting together in missional communities. So here's some thoughts about why we are sticking with missional communities and why you get to join in with us as well. I want to read a little part of the Bible to you. This is from Hebrews chapter 10, and I'm starting at verse 23. It says this: "Let us hold tightly without wavering to the hope we affirm, for God can be trusted to keep his promise. Let us think of ways to motivate one another to acts of love and good works. And let us not neglect our meeting together, as some people do, but encourage one another, especially now that the day of his return is drawing near." And what those verses kind of speak about and kind of summarise, I think it is something quite nicely about what we think missional communities are really great for. So I've spoken to you before about how missional communities is a kind of a medium-sized group, a place to belong as part of the church. And missional communities are a great way of expressing our life as Christians and also expressing the purpose of the church. And so I've talked to you before about the purpose of the church being for worship, for friendship, and also for mission, for blessing the world and joining in with what God is doing in the world. And these verses in Hebrews, I think, kind of highlight that to me as well today. So first of all, it talks about holding on tightly to the hope that we affirm. And that hope is there because God is a God who can be trusted. He can be trusted to keep his promise. So that is a verse that I think encourages us to keep up with our worship and our love of God and to hold tightly to the hope that we have. Secondly, these verses encourage us to motivate one another into acts of love and good works. And it has been true for millennia that the call and the purpose of the church is not to just look after ourselves, not to just be about making sure that we're all okay, but the call and the purpose of the church is to serve others. It's to bless the world. It's to make a difference in our community. And there's a whole range of ways that we can do that. But one of the things that we get to do together as followers of Jesus is to encourage each other and motivate each other to keep on with acts of love, to keep on serving our neighbours, loving our neighbours, bringing the light of Jesus in our workplaces, whatever it might be. And the third thing these verses say: let us not neglect meeting together, as some people do, but encourage one another. And now is a time that I want to really encourage you to keep on with church. I know that it is hard. We've been doing our online services for a long time. We haven't been able to get together. Even when we can get together in groups, we can't sing together. There feels like there's been so much that's been stripped back, but now is a time to keep on. Don't neglect meeting together. There's a reason why there's this encouragement in the Bible. It's because we're designed to get together as groups of Christians to encourage each other. These verses: let us not neglect meeting together, as some people do, but encourage one another, especially now that the day of his return is drawing near, especially now. So I want to encourage you in those three things: to hold tightly to hope, to motivate one another into acts of love, and to keep on meeting together, to keep on developing our friendships and our relationships with each other. So that's why we're sticking with missional communities. It's because I want to keep at the forefront of the life of our church, not just our online services, not just our worship, not just our Sunday nights and our times when we get together to pray. All of those things are really great in the life of a worshipping community, but also to keep acts of love, to keep mission, to keep blessing our community in the forefront of the call and the purpose of our church, and to help us commit to keeping on meeting together, developing our friendships, and committing to each other as a community of faith, as a family of believers, as the Church of God. So that's why we're sticking with missional communities, and I hope that you'll join in too.